What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of sorry. God! Oh man, sorry about that, guys. Welcome back to Watch It in Action. I'm BouseFeenux, and today we're going to be covering one of my favorite weapons of all time, the Sancti Tigris. Before we get into that, though, some quick housekeeping. I'll be moving fashion frames to the end of the month. The theme is still springtime frames, so get your submissions in by sending them to the email address below. Also, I want to thank you guys real quick for the awesome support with my shitty kitchen. In just a day, I gained over 140 subscribers, and the first video gained almost 500 views. I've got a new video up today, and you should check it out. Here's a clip. Yeah, there's no intro. What do you mean there's no intro? You know what? You're fucking... Okay, so enough plugs. The Sancti Tigris is an amazing weapon that can be acquired from the New Loka Syndicate at Master Rank 12 for 125,000 standing. If you aren't a member of New Loka, you can still get this weapon, but you'll have to buy it from another player. Note that you'll still have to be Master Rank 12 to trade it. The Sancti Tigris is pretty much a massive upgrade across the board when compared to the regular Tigris. It features extremely high slash damage, fantastic ammo economy, a syndicate proc that restores your health and deals 1000 corrosive damage in a 25 meter radius with a guaranteed proc, an extremely fast fire rate, and to top it all off, it has the highest base damage in the game of all weapons at the time of this video. On the negative side, it falls short in the critical and status department, so a build for either of those would not be optimal. Secondly, the unique Duplex firing mechanism is hard for newer players to get used to, but it does open up some neat strategy options when you're facing a large group of foes, or just a few really tough ones. Lastly, compared to other shotguns, the Sancti Tigris has a low pellet count and high spread, meaning you'll have to get in close to make your damage really count. After taking all of that into consideration, I've put together a build for this weapon. Let's check it out. The build I'm using costs 4 forma to fit. Not bad for a weapon that insta-gibs enemies. On the top row, I'm using prime point blank, which increases our overall damage. Think of it like serration for shotgun. If you don't have the primed version, just use the regular one instead. Our second mod, Seeking Fury, is a player preference mod, and I use it wherever I can. It offers reload speed and punch through, both of which are fantastic for this weapon, as it'll allow us to take down huge groups of enemies with ease. If you want to switch this mod out to something else, feel free to. Moving down to the second row, I'm using Hell's Chamber for multi-shot, which will give us an increase to our pellet count, something that pretty much makes a shotgun, a shotgun. Vicious Spread is a mod that most of you may argue with on this weapon because it increases our spread by 60%, which is a lot on a weapon like this that already has a large pellet spread. The trade-off, though, is a 90% boost in damage, which is something I didn't want to let go of. Next up, I'm using Sweeping Serration to give a massive 120% boost to our already insane slash damage. With Sweeping Serration, we'll have over 16k slash damage. I usually don't use physical damage mods, but this mod scales incredibly with the Sancti Tigris due to its already astonishingly high base damage. Last on the build, we have space for our combined elementals such as corrosive, and one single element such as heat. This is just my current setup at the time of this video, so feel free to use whatever elements you need. And that pretty much covers our mod setup, guys, so let's move over to the Simulacrum and I'll show you this weapon in action against some high-level targets in a controlled environment. For today's exercise, I want to show you guys a few things. To start, let's use some heavily armored targets. I'm going with the Corrupted Heavy Gunner at level 100. Notice that despite our extremely high base damage, we're having a tough time getting through this enemy. That's because the high armor value of this enemy is negating a lot of our base slash damage. To really get the most out of this weapon against high-level armor targets, I recommend having a full squad of corrosive projections or using a Seeking Shuriken Ash build. It may seem like a pain to set this type of group up, but you'll find that if you're running higher level content, these types of groups are fairly common. As an example, watch what happens when we remove the enemy armor. Notice how much quicker the Heavy Gunner went down without its armor. The Sancti Tigris may struggle against some of the tougher targets, but as you can see here, it pretty much destroys anything that isn't a Corrupted Bombard or Corrupted Heavy Gunner at this level. And that covers it for today's video, guys. Again, we covered the Sancti Tigris. I'm BouseFeenux, and this has been another episode of Watch It in Action. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to leave a like. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I put out new Warframe content almost daily. So, also, don't forget to check out My Shitty Kitchen. That's my new cooking channel. I'll leave the link for that in the description below, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you at the next video. Peace out, everybody.